Securing national interest abroad and the pursuit of global stability always has been and will be tied to the littorals, where the migration of populations, competition for resources, and high probability of natural disasters combine to produce a complex and uncertain operating environment for U.S. forces, agencies, and coalition partners. These environments can be permissive, uncertain, and/or hostile, and their lines of distinction are often blurred as we are confronted by challenges to access and threatened by area denial technologies. Operational maneuver from the sea facilitates a credible response to crises in the littorals, and Ship-to-Objective Maneuver, or STOM, provides the U.S. with the ability to project power and influence ashore with tailored and scalable forces. Though initially conceived as a concept for forcible entry, STOM is a capability applied across all domains with the full range of military operations, from steady state engagement and partner building to humanitarian crisis and major combat operations. To fully exploit the sea as maneuver space and provide greater force employment options, STOM seeks to remove the transition at the water's edge, exploiting significant improvements in speed, range, and command and control, and leveraging the flexibility of naval forces. The Joint Force Commander is provided a greater range of options, including the ability to aggregate forces in order to conduct more traditional missions in openly hostile environments. U.S. naval forces combine speed, maneuverability, and flexibility to gain access and freedom of action across the littorals. Their amphibious ships provide efficient operating platforms for launch, recovery, and maintenance of landing craft and aircraft, and support war-fighting functions such as command and control, communications, intelligence, fires, and logistics, to include berthing, messing, and medical services. Used in conjunction with surface and air connectors, the ships of the Amphibious Task Force are able to close, assemble, employ, sustain, and reconstitute MAGTFs in any environment. Their forward deployment positions them to support a wide variety of security cooperation and engagement activities and rapidly respond to crises when required. STOM applies the principles and tactics of maneuver warfare to the littoral battle space, even in non-combat scenarios. Specifically, it allows for the conduct of combined arms operations from the sea directly to objectives ashore without stopping to seize, defend, and build up a beachhead or landing zone. A focus on the overall objective will drive planning and the scheme of maneuver ashore. The implementation of detailed but flexible plans and the availability of a real-time picture of the battle space allows commanders to base decisions, such as the time and place of landing, on the gaps and obstacles encountered in the area of operations. The application of these principles requires continued refinement of .mil-PF changes to include future enhancements that enable maneuver elements to depart their ships, prepared to execute actions on the objective, without pausing at or establishing a beachhead. Freedom of commanders to choose tactical formation and axes of advance based on changing situation and task force commander intent. Emphasize sea-based C2, logistic and fire support. Maintain a single command to support seamless C2 across the littorals. Place a premium on ISR to identify exploitable gaps. Freedom to task organize to, from, and on the objective as necessary. Establish control measures such as littoral penetration areas, sites, and points. Develop shallow watermine countermeasure detection, avoidance, and when necessary, lane clearing. The execution of STOM operations takes place within the full range of military operations. In permissive environments, U.S. forces are generally engaged in building partner capacity or security cooperation missions. Though the level of threat may be diminished, by no means does this mean that these operations are easy. By implementing the tenets of STOM, commanders limit the footprint ashore and reduce potential access tensions from flaring. Should the situation change and the environment become uncertain or hostile, the Joint Force Commander will use the principles of STOM and draw from the sea base to scale and task organized forces as required. In uncertain environments, U.S. forces are often engaged in HADR, NEO, counterterrorism, trap, and board, search, and seizure missions, which are arguably the more challenging because of their fluid nature. Weaving elements of both permissive and hostile environments, the uncertain environment is often restrictively defensive in stance, consistent with the rules of engagement. The requirement to gain entry along a littoral in the face of an adversary is enduring, and the hostile environment is one that often requires such a forcible entry. Several planning factors are taken into consideration in order to execute operations in such an environment. First, the landing plan and scheme of maneuver are combined into a single STOM plan under a single commander. Littoral maneuver begins at the line of departure, which may be over the horizon. Select warfighting functions will be sea-based to reduce landward force requirements. Landing forces will take the most advantageous route to the objective, not necessarily the most direct. The surface landing will be timed in conjunction with breaching requirements. Adversaries may employ a combination of obstacles, mines, artillery, missiles, small boats, air defense artillery, direct fire, and maneuver forces, with integrated air and coastal defense systems seeking to deny entry to the joint force. Amphibious forces will offset these challenges by remaining, at least initially, over the horizon, using the expanded maneuver space offered by the sea to complicate enemy targeting and provide more reaction time to defeat counterstrikes. From this tactically advantageous position, the landing force will be able to initially avoid enemy strength, maneuver to create multiple entry points, and disrupt enemy anti-access strategy. STOM is not aimed at seizing a beach. Instead, commanders will coordinate littoral maneuver by vertical and surface means to achieve maximum enemy disruption, achieve depth, maintain tempo, and overwhelm local defenses. Sustained from the sea, employed forces minimize their footprint ashore and retain the flexibility to continue the current mission, adapt to new missions, or reconstitute at sea for subsequent redeployment. Use of the sea as maneuver space is the overarching concept that will enable the U.S. to prevent and win wars. U.S. naval forces already employ STOM across the Romo as its preferred approach to amphibious operations. The STOM capabilities that we continue to refine are designed to prevail in hostile conditions. They also have wide utility for a variety of operations in permissive and uncertain environments. Simply put, STOM is the concept that will allow the Navy Marine Corps team to assure access and conduct littoral maneuver in future operating environments around the globe.